I came back to India in 1971 to see my guru again, and I couldn't find him. He was a very free spirit in the external sense as well. He'd disappear into the jungle. He was a very simple man. He had just a blanket and a water pot, really. I mean, he had no money and he didn't care, and people kept trying to get him to stay in one place, but he wouldn't. Finally, I couldn't find him because he wasn't at the places I looked for him. So I knew that when it was time to find him, he'd find me or we'd find each other. India's a big place. So I went to a meditation course with a number of friends, and for about 40 days we meditated. And at the end of that time, I had gotten a little dry, and I wanted to go to, I was in Bodh Gaya, which is where the Buddha got enlightened. So I wanted to go to Bodh Gaya. I was at Bodh Gaya meditating, and I wanted to leave to go to Delhi, where there was going to be a celebration. So there were about, I told fellow meditators I was going to go, and a number of others said they'd like to join me. And one of the women in the group had come over from England with a bus driver in a big bus, English bus, and he wanted to join us, and he brought his bus. So there were then 33 of us, actually 32 in the bus driver, 33 of us. And we left Bodh Gaya for New Delhi. It's about a 2-day drive, or day and a half, 2-day drive. And we planned to go halfway and spend the night. In the course of the trip, we would pass through Allahabad. Allahabad is one of the very sacred cities in India. It's a place where several rivers come together, the Ganges and the Yamuna. And then there's a spiritual river that comes up from below, and right at the place where those rivers come together, the conjunction, which is called the Prayag, is one of the most sacred spaces in India spiritually, and it's a place where on certain planetary moments, which happen every 12 years, there is a very auspicious moment from the Hindu point of view to bathe at that particular point. And what happens is about 5 million people come to bathe at that point, at that moment, and it's a little chaotic, and last time, about 500 people got trampled to death, but it's quite an ecstatic way to go. I mean, if you're going to go because you're in search of that moment of enlightenment. So, and they camp out for about 3 months. They come from the mountains. All these wild-looking sadhus come who have wild hair, and they live in ashes, and a lot of the naked babas, the Naga babas, come. And it's quite an experience to be there. I've been to several of these. And so as we were driving the bus from Bodh Gaya to Delhi, we passed by Allahabad. And one of the fellows who was on the bus, who is now an editor of the New York Times, but at that time he was a hippie, he came up to me and he said, I was at the Mela, which just was over about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said, I went to the Mela, and he said, it's a very powerful place. And he said, don't you think we ought to just drive over, because it'll take about 10 minutes to drive the bus over to that place. Don't you think we ought to take the 10 minutes and go over there and see the place? And I thought, well, it's late in the day and we want to go to the hotel. We're tired. And after all, if the Mela isn't there anymore, it'll just be a big empty, sandy campground. And that doesn't seem very attractive. So I said, well, I didn't think we would do that. So he said, okay. And he went back to sit down, and I was sitting there in the bus as it was going along, and I was thinking to myself, what kind of a person am I? Here I come to India. I'm within 10 minutes of one of the most sacred places in India, and I'm too busy getting to the hotel to go to this place. That doesn't feel very good. And so I sort of debated with myself, should I do it or not? Because I was the elder, and so I was the leader of the group. So finally I thought, well, why not? Come on, it's a few minutes, we'll watch the sunset and then go home. So I went up to the bus driver, I said, would you turn right up here and we'll go over to the Mela grounds and we will just enjoy the sunset together. He said, fine. He turned right. At that point, Danny came up again to the front of the bus. He said, I see you going over there. I said, yes. And the bus driver drove to this great big empty field. I mean, it was huge because, I mean, you know, millions of people would come there. It was like a carnival ground after the carnival leaves. Papers in the dust rolling, that quality. Few people here and there, but very spread out. And the bus driver said, "Where shall I park?" And Danny said, "Well," he said, "you remember I brought you back those little," he brought us all back these little medallions of Hanuman, the monkey. There's Hanuman the monkey, by the way. And he said, I brought you back those, and I bought them from a stand right there near that temple, that Hanuman temple that's over there in the corner. So why don't we park there?" So the bus driver goes to pull up there, and as the bus is stopping, one of the fellows looks over and he says, "There's Maharaji." Maharaji being a name meaning great king, but it's also, and it's all a very common name. It's just a name of respect, and it's used for many, many thousands of people. A sweeper could be called Maharaji. In this case, he was talking about my guru. He said, "There's Maharaji." And as the bus stopped, Maharaji and one of his Indian devotees walked right by the bus. Now, I hadn't seen him in 2 years. And he pulled right by the bus, and I got quite emotional. We all got off the bus. Most of those people had never met him. And I ran up and I touched his feet, and I was very emotional, and all these people stood around, and he looked kind of bored. And then he said, follow us. And so he and the Indian devotee got onto a rickshaw, a bicycle rickshaw, and they started down the street, and we got into this huge bus and started to follow them. And then we went into a smaller and smaller street, and then we came to a little house, and they got out of the rickshaw and walked into the house. And I got down from the bus, and all the people got down from the bus, and we started to go up on the porch, and were met by these Indian people that said, "Welcome." And I smelled this incredible smell of Indian food. And it was about 5 in the afternoon, 5:30 in the afternoon. And the man said to me, "We've been waiting for you." He said, "This morning at 7 o'clock, Maharaji said, 'Start cooking. There'll be 33 people here for dinner.'" Okay. Now this is straight. And the entire meal was sitting there waiting for 33 people. There were 32 people plus the bus driver. Right? Now, I just asked you, who was it that was sitting in the bus thinking that he was making a choice? Do you hear the predicament? If indeed I thought I was sitting deciding whether we would go there, how could that have been if already the whole thing was written out? Now, what does that do to my consciousness about whether or not I'm making the decisions I think I'm making? Just want to stretch you a little bit by playing with these kinds of questions.